Hi guys, it's been a few years, let's have a chat. So back in 2022, I decided to start a YouTube channel for Train Girl. I think at that point in my life I had a 2.5-year-old, I was working part-time, and I thought that I could take on more than what I could, and then it just sort of started becoming a lot of work in the background that I was building up my business. I wanted to start my website. I had so many ideas and I just didn't have enough time. And then starting last year in 2024, I started working full-time and my kid was in daycare pretty much 4 days a week. And I just found it was all a bit too much to be able to film full-length videos while trying to make models. I think that there's not a lot of emphasis on how much filming and editing takes while you are also trying to make something that may take you a week, 3 months, 6 months, a year to make. But I think that's all about to change. I have sort of had a shift in my attitude towards how I create content, and majority of the questions that I get asked is, how long did it take? How much did it cost? Where did you get that from? All those types of questions, and people wanting to watch me make stuff. I've made a few reels in the past, especially for like Instagram, TikTok and Facebook. And although you can definitely see how I make things, it's not an in-depth, informative video on where I get my products from, the people and the relationships that I've built over the years to get those products. You know, people will say, oh, this model only cost me $100 to make or something like that. But you're buying in bulk, you're spending a lot of money. I think my first model, which was Yarra Glen, it cost about $1,000 just for, I think it wouldn't even be half a metre long. But that was because I didn't have anything. I didn't have a static applicator. I didn't have track or anything like that. So yeah, I want to make more content on those types of things. As you can see, I have rearranged my whole setup. I used to be against the window, and then I moved out into the dining room, and then it just really wasn't working, being able to have my kid hanging around and lots of noises. And that's another thing, trying to get good audio about talking about this type of stuff and choosing which days to do it. So here we are. So what's been happening since 2022? So basically my kid is now 5. He's a lot of my life. His name is Ted. You'll probably see him pop in and out occasionally. I had surgery, a couple of surgeries back in 2023. My back was so bad. I ended up in hospital for 8 days. I could not walk, and I was probably at one of my lowest. I didn't do any modelling. I was on a lot of painkillers and I was pretty miserable actually. So I think that when I got back into doing modelling and doing models that I would like to do, that's sort of what kept me going. And this is now a result of me just sort of putting all my focus into that. Started my website, and that went absolutely bonkers. That keeps me incredibly busy, especially after work and on weekends. And thank you every single person who buys stuff off me. It literally pays for my groceries some weeks, and it's been definitely an eye-opening experience to see what people are after, and being able to create things that people, or supply things that people need. As for new products, I've probably released quite a few since I would have made my last video. So I obviously did the PBR kits and started doing the scene setter stuff. started getting applicated. I started selling SMS paints, so that was a big one for me, and I also started selling trackside models. So I don't necessarily make those products, I'm just a retailer of them. And then I think I've released a couple more series of signs since I last did a video. So you can check them all out on my website. It's everything is pretty much handmade. So if you do place an order and I don't have it sitting in my storage from when I've done shows, then I pretty much just have to sit down and make it. So it may take, you know, a week or two sometimes, depending on how busy I am, to make the signs and stuff like that. As for commissions, I pretty much stopped doing sign commissions. The reason why I did this, say for V-line signs, I was only making them as ordered, and I was only charging maximum $35 to $40 per set. Those signs take so long to make. As I said, everything's made by hand, and generally a V-line sign could take me anywhere from 2 hours to 5 hours, depending on what the person was after. I just don't have the time to do that. It's probably just not worth my time and money, unfortunately. It's just a very time-consuming process. The same thing as 3D printing. It's extremely time-consuming, and I'm lucky enough that I've got contacts that I know who can do 3D modeling for me, and I sort of do the rest. With models themselves, if you are interested in me doing any scenic work or those types of things, I'm all ears, I'm all open to that type of thing at the moment. I've got a few ideas about what I want to do in the next year. I have so many ideas, constantly thinking of projects and things that I can make and competitions that I want to enter, and it's just whether I have the time or not to do that. So that's something that is constantly that I'm working on, that I'm thinking on. At the moment, I just finished and handed over my first very large commission, which was an industrial building construction site, which was in N-scale. So that one took me about 3 months. I had a break over December just because I was super busy. And yeah, handed that over. I was super happy with it. It was definitely a challenge. The first time that I was using a laser cutter for modeling, which I'll show you guys plenty of that. And yeah, it was really fun. I really enjoyed it. So what have I made since then? I've done Luna Park, Nuji, I did a rally scene, Queensland flood diorama, my Puffing Billy railway line, which was like a display through a tunnel, which I do want to fix up. I don't like the tunnel. I think it looks pretty, it was very rushed because I was trying to do it before an expo. And then I also did my Fremo layout. So I've been hanging out with the Fremo guys. That's been really fun. We do that probably every 3 to 6 months, which I'd love to continue doing stuff like that. And I also do the 3D printed buildings for those as well. So that's been really fun. I've really enjoyed that. That's pretty much what's been happening. What I wanted to do today was I wanted to show you what trains I've got, because that's a common question that I get asked all the time, is what type of locomotives that you have. Now, I always say this to people, even though my name is the Train Girl, I don't really know that much about trains. I came into this hobby loving creating, and trains were a big part of that. When I made Paran, that's when I started doing Train Girl, and I can definitely appreciate how gorgeous they are and how they work and all those types of things, and I do have favourite trains and those types of things. But I wouldn't say that I am a connoisseur. I don't know, a lot of model numbers and those types of things. When people come to me, God bless their souls, and they tell me about what trains they've got, and I don't necessarily understand a lot of what they're talking about when it comes to parts of trains and those types of things. I do grab inspiration from when a company releases a new train or anything like that. I may think, oh, I can do this scene, and my partner has a big part to play in that. Justin is constantly thinking of new scenes and things that I can make that you guys would really enjoy. because he's the train nerd. I'm not necessarily the train nerd, but I'm definitely the building nerd and the painting nerd. So yeah, so I wanted to show you what type of trains I've got. So let's do that. First things first, let's have a look and see what I've got in my collection. It's a question that I get asked a lot. So the first one was a B class that picked up from Oakley Trade, the swap meets. So this one's obviously in a used condition. I honestly cannot remember, unless it's got a price on it, I cannot remember how much it was bought for. I'm gonna say it was probably like 150 bucks. I don't know if it runs or not. I've never actually seen it run. A lot of the time when I'm doing models, I do static models. So maybe I'll see if it runs. It probably does. I'll have to have a look. I'm not sure. That shows you how much I know about that one. The next one up is a G class. Again, these have never been run. And from memory, this probably cost around $500. So this one's never actually come out of its box. This is the G513. And I don't really want to take it out of its box just yet if I don't have to put it anywhere. So that's a beautiful locomotive. The next one, a lot of people have seen this one on my Nuji model. So when this model came out from Ixion, this model came out quite a few years back, and I can see here on the back, $595. I think I got this from Train World. Shout out to Train World, thank you so much for providing such goodies. This one has been out and about quite a lot. I also don't want to take it out because it's just such a pain to put back into its plastic sleeves. It is a beautiful model, and I haven't even weathered it, possibly because I do want to sell my models, especially Nuji. Nuji is very, very large and it just takes up a lot of room, and anyone who is interested in purchasing it, you are more than welcome to put an offer in for it. It is, it's a beautiful model. It's just so big and I don't have any room. And I think the thing is, when I make something and then I show it and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so proud of this. And then I hate it. And then I just want it to go into the bin. And obviously there's a lot of time and months and months and months of effort that goes into it. But I'm just one of those people. I make something and then I just want to throw it away. So similar happened to Paran. Paran did the rounds. I think I had that for about 2 years, and then I had advertised that I wanted to sell it, and I got a really okay offer. It probably wasn't exactly what it was worth, but I had to get rid of it because I had no room, and I was really proud of that model. So yeah, that's my J class. What else have I got? I didn't even really know that Justin had this one, but I found it, and I remember he bought this from Yarra Valley Model Railway. It was like a swap meet day that we did, and I had a stand there. So this is a S-Class locomotive, and again, as many of you would know, you don't often take them out of their boxes unless you really have to, unless you want to run that train. So this is a gorgeous train. Look at this locomotive. This one here, I think he paid $220 for. This is the thing, we spend so much money on trains, and obviously there's all different types of people in the train, model train world, and I'm only fairly new to the industry, but there's people who just buy trains and never run them. They just are collectors, which is absolutely fine. There's people who have 1 or 2 locomotives, and then they, you know, for money reasons, that's all that they can afford, and then they run them. They go to events and they can use other people's layouts, like club layouts and those types of things. But I've never been one of those types of people. I much prefer doing scenery and buildings and painting and all those types of things. I think everyone's different. I think that that's what's so cool about the hobby, is that you just have so many options about what you can do, and there's so many things that you can learn. And so here I've also got a W class. I picked this up from the awesome people at IDR Models. We got this at AMRA in 2023. Again, everything's so perfectly packaged and really difficult to open because they're super fragile. I cannot tell you how much this cost. I do not remember. I think it was roughly around 250 bucks. This is the W class, that VRW class. So that one there, that's a Locomotive that I've got. I have too many. For me, it's too many. Some people, it's definitely not enough, but it is what it is. This is a Y class that Justin purchased, the very first model that we did, other than a steam era kit that I bought. This one has DCC sound that got put in it from Mike at DCC Sound. This one literally just lives on my Yarra Glen model, and it moves, it works, it does the full shebang. So this beautiful one has been weathered. I don't think I actually weathered this. I think it came weathered. Yeah, so that one makes all the choo-choo sounds. That one's pretty cool. For people who know me very well, they would know that I do love trams. I think trams are very cool, and I get very excited when I see trams. So this one here is one that I purchased from Queer Classics. Hello guys. I also sell Queer Classics vehicles and earth movers. I don't sell any of their cars just because a lot of people sell them, so I was just like, you can buy them from anywhere. But this one here I used for my Luna Park model. And you can see that I've changed the front board there and the number to match that was out the front of Luna Park. So that one's pretty cool. Also, again, I haven't weathered it. I just only feel like it's necessary if it's going to be living on the model permanently, but I just didn't want to weather this one because it's so cute. It's so cute. What else have I got? A T-Class, diesel locomotive. Again, Justin bought this one. You can see a pattern. This one here, I believe, from memory, was about 150. I've never used it in a model. It's never been run. I don't know if it works, but it should for the price. Lordy Lord. Okay. Now for the ones that I have made. So everyone would know that I have the Puffing Billy kits, and if you didn't, you're welcome. I have Puffing Billy kits that you can buy because there was a digital artist in India who was selling the 3D models. So I decided that I would make one, and then Justin said to me, well, why don't you, can you keep making them to make different ones? And then I said to him, well, how about I sell them in kits? And that's what I decided to do. So this one here is the 8A. I understand that the chimney knot might be correct as much as it should. This little boy runs. We have got a Graham Farish mechanism in the bottom of it. Now I can do a video on how to assemble these kits. It is super easy. The only thing that is not super easy is getting these mechs to fit. This isn't just the only mech that you can use. You can customize the locomotive to fit other mechs, but I haven't tried, so I don't tell people what the other ones are because I've never done it. So that one there, that's my NA. This is the Garrett that same digital artist, and then I've got a kit of this one too. This one is a static model, but you can fit mechs in them as well. So that's the G class, and then we have got the Climax. I've never glued the roof on. I don't know why, but I just never have done that. So this is pretty much what it looks like, all finished. Very cute. Again, very easy to assemble. It pretty much comes whole, the whole kit, and then there's just a couple of bits and bobs like the roof and the wheels that you can put in. You could get away with, I've seen people put mechs in them. I've never personally done it. As you can see, this is the only one that I've assembled, but it's a really fun project. You can literally do it over a day. It doesn't take long. It comes with the decals as well. But I'm more than happy to do a video on those kits that I've made. The very last not whole locomotive that I have is the Harry Potter train. The reason why it's in bits, this was purchased from Marketplace. I do not remember how much it was. As you can see, she is not looking too flash. It's been fully pulled apart. There's some bits that are coming off it. I do have plans in motion, maybe, to make a Hogsmeade model. I'm very, very excited about that. For those who don't know, I am, when people say that you're a nerd and stuff like that, and you're like, obviously, because you do model trains, it's not necessarily that. I am a massive pop culture nerd as well. My absolute favourite movies of all time is Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter. That's all I watch while I'm modelling. I don't watch anything else. That's the only things that I watch. So I do have plans to do a Lord of the Rings model, which hopefully I can sort of pressure myself into getting started this week, because I want to enter it into the Scale Model Expo. I really want to do that. I think that I just would love doing it. So that's one model, and then I also want to do Hogsmeade, but it's going to be like a forced perception with a background and stuff like that. So this is why this is in bits. It came and it did run. It came with a little track. It did run, but it's going to be static. I'm not too stressed about running those, running it at all. It's pretty much just going to be a static model that people can see, and then I'll probably add special effects to it and those types of things. So that lives in that little container. So that's it. That's all the locomotives that I have. So if anyone asks me, refer back to this video, because a lot of them aren't mine. They are my partner's, Justin, bless his cotton socks. For those people interested in what I've got coming up, as I said, I wanted to do a Lord of the Rings model. There is a whole Australian movie series that I want to do, which would incorporate a bus and aeroplanes, which I'm going to be working on this year, depending on what type of commissions that I get in to work on the side. I think I just want to evolve this channel into more stuff that I like to do. As I said, even though that my name is The Train Girl, a lot of the time what I'm doing is buildings and scenery. It's not necessarily train related, as much as people would like to see train related content. It's not something that I don't know too much about that type of thing, but I keep learning, and that's what's good about the hobby, is that you can just keep learning, you keep learning new things. But my main focus is scenery and making buildings and how I do them, and obviously painting, because painting is absolutely what I love doing. And also there's an element of the pop culture that I want to interject into my brand and those types of things. So that's what's happening. I'm so surprised that Teddy hasn't come in here and annoyed you guys. I am going to probably do a few shopping videos, because I spend a lot of time in model shops and hobby shops and buying paint and all those types of things. I would do a studio tour, but I currently have a lot of stuff out, because I've been getting orders ready for shops as well. So that's another element that I'm working on as well. I have to make bulk signs, so that takes up a lot of my time as well. Thank you for watching. This has just been me rambling on about things that I have, and thank you for sticking with me and purchasing my products and watching my content. If you want to see more behind behind the scenes stuff. I post on Instagram quite a bit, so you can follow me there. My handle is the.train.girl. You can also follow me on Facebook, and you can follow me on TikTok as well. It is a wonderful day here in Melbourne. It is a sunny 24 degrees outside. I'm going to go hang up some washing, and then I think I'm going to do some research on my next model, which I will be filming. It is going to be my Lord of the Rings model. So stay tuned. Have a fantastic day. Enjoy.